Hey, everybody. I am doing an interview with someone who's got a short film playing at Comic-Con, at the Comic-Con Film Festival. I'm here with Julie Marchese, who has adapted, oddly enough, one of my favorite Stephen King stories because it just stuck with me from middle school forward, which is I Know What You Need. Um,
That
a,
I
a
want to hear about when you first read it. Can I
I
jump
was just
in
in
and
middle
ask?
school and I just sort of went, uh, I'll let you describe it since it's your film, but it did just stick with me. And yeah, I don't know. It's just as soon as I saw the title in an email this week, I was like, oh, yeah, okay, I know exactly which story this is. I know exactly what happens.
Hmm.
And it's a fantastic adaptation. So let's start.
Thank you.
It's from Stephen King, from the book Night Shift. And this is part of, I think he calls it the Dollar Baby deal, uh,
Yes.
to allow to adapt. So I'll let you first just describe what it is about this story that drew you to wanting to make the film.
It's my very favorite short story of his. I'm a gigantic Stephen King fan and have been since I was in junior high, and so this is my favorite short story. And I read it, and it was really the description of Edward when you first meet him, and he's kind of disheveled, and his socks don't match, and his coat is too big, and there was just something about him that, and he comes bearing ice cream, and I feel like I would have been suckered in like Elizabeth is suckered in, and so when reading the story, it was going through it with her and seeing, oh, there's something wrong with him because it's a Stephen King story, but like, how bad can it be? And then, of course, it's terrible. But it felt really, there was something about it that really drew me to it as well. And I feel like I'm so lucky not only to have adapted my favorite short story, but also at the locations mentioned in the story. So we shot at the University of Maine, and the dorm that we shot in is Stephen King's dorm. We're in the library he mentions, like those are the exact
Wow.
places. So I feel like it's really a constant reader's dream, and one that I peppered very liberally with Easter eggs for all the hardcore fans like me, that will let you know some little Stephen King multiverse secrets within it as well.
Well, I mean, I don't think this is a spoiler to say. The second she picked up a can of Nozola Cola, I was just like, yes, yes,
See,
I
this
know
is
where
what
I
I'm
am.
talking about. Yes, and this is right for the hardcore fans. You makes you know, okay, this isn't taking place in Keystone Earth. This is taking place on another level of the tower, right? Because we're not. She's not drinking Coca Cola. She's drinking Nozzle Cola. So like, it's a whole different thing.
But yeah, as I was watching it, one of the things I just think is, oh, thank heavens that university libraries never change,
Hmm.
because it's set in the 70s. Although I do want to say to anybody who's not familiar with the story, it resonates really hard in 2024. And it's kind of the flip side for me. That may have been why it was memorable. Was I felt like that opening of, like, I was, obviously I run a site called Fanboy Planet. I was a dorky kid, and when he showed up with the ice cream, I was like, oh, I would do that. And then of course, yes, it goes, no, don't be that guy.
Okay, interesting. So you're looking at it from his point of view. I like it. A different
Well,
way of looking.
at first, I mean, it became a story that where it was obviously like, oh, this is absolutely not that I would have been in the same situation, but it's like, oh yeah, this is absolutely not the way to be. But that's why I think that uh, there are many people in the around right now who could learn a lesson or five. Um, so you've wanted to make this film forever. I mean, how long has it been a serious you were gonna that you knew you were gonna make this movie?
So when I read the story, I was like, how does one make a Stephen King adaptation? And so the Dollar Baby program, which he had, which was running from the late 70s, early 80s up until this past December of 2023, it was a thing where you could buy the rights to certain stories for $1 for a year rights. And so the contract was that it was nonprofit, non-broadcast, so you couldn't sell it, but you could show it at film festivals and private screenings. It could be 45 minutes or under, and it was something where he was allowing you. He knows that you use his name, and it'll get more attention, but he doesn't want you to make money off of it, which is fair enough. So I'm so lucky that I got in to make this movie under the wire. I didn't know that Dollar Baby program was ending, so I didn't know that it was going to be one of the last ones to come out of it, and definitely the last version of this story in particular.
Oh, and one thing that I think I read in the press notes that this had been your take all along was it's a 70s after school special,
Mhm.
which there's sorry, I know there's at least two generations that have no idea what that is.
Now they can
Uh,
learn.
Yes, and it felt note perfect. So what about that? Why did you want to do that take?
So the 70s are my groovy personal aesthetic. So I like it for that reason, but it's also narratively needs to be set in the 70s because if the internet exists, the story falls apart. And you would have to change the story so radically to make it fit in modern day world. And I didn't want to do that. So I wanted to make it as faithful as possible. So that's why I kept it set in the 70s. But also after school specials are cautionary tales. And that's exactly what this is. They often focus on first love. They focus on students. So it just felt like it went right in hand. And to make it look that really kind of have fun with the 70s montages and the lenses and the colors like that, which to me is what my life looks like in real life. So you're just seeing me on screen, really. A lot of people tell me that honestly, they're like, the film looks like you. And I'm like, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Well, except you have DVDs behind you. You're reminding me of
That's true.
my one of my favorite places in the world, Be Kind Video in my neighborhood,
Ah,
which is very horror oriented as well. I
yes.
just noticed, like, oh yeah, yeah, Julia knows this stuff.
Uh-huh.
But so with younger actors who had probably never seen one, what special directions did you have to give them to strike that tone? Because that tone of acting was there too.
Yeah, I sent everybody specific movies that I wanted to watch them to watch for their characters, and some of them were after school specials. But also like I sent Will, who plays Edward, I sent him Christine. And I'm like, look at Arnie Cunningham, like this is very similar. He has this turn in there as well, and also made people listen to music, and so I wanted them to really feel because I didn't want it to feel like a movie made in 2024 set then. I wanted it to feel like it was from 1976. And I tried to do that as much as humanly possible. And thank you to Panavision for giving us an incredible camera package with 70s lenses and why it looks so beautiful. My
That's amazing.
cinematographer, Alex Simon, did a great job. My editor, Rick Dominicus, did a fantastic job, really trying to make it look as authentically 70s as we possibly could.
It did. I mean, I was a child, but I remember, it felt like it. So, that's terrific. And now I said it's playing at the Comic Con Film Festival, and what day is it and time? Do you know the
It is
time slot?
playing on Friday at the 26th at 1:45 p.m. And it is playing in the Marquis Ballroom. I will
The
have to,
Marriott Marquis.
yes.
Yes.
Um,
Okay.
and I will. Sorry, I'll have to find the actual room though. Give me a
No, no.
second.
If you say the Marquis Ballroom, people will find that. So that's good. 1:45. It's a
Okay.
great film. Have you been to Comic Con before?
I have been to Comic Con before, but I've never been there with a film. So this is a whole different ball of wax. And then I'm also going to be on a panel on Thursday evening called Recast Monsters, which is reading horror classics, comics, which underswapped. So that's going to be really fun. So I get to be on a panel for that. I get to have my film screen on Friday. So I feel really lucky and really grateful. And I'm so thrilled that people are going to be able to see this film because it really can only play in festivals according to the contract. So it's very, very awesome.
That is awesome. What do you know the time and room of your panel?
Yes, the panel route time Thursday the 25th at 8:30 p.m. I think it's room 10.
Oh, I'm in room 10 on a panel at 6:30 to 7:30.
Ah.
So both of us are in the same boat of uh viewers, if you cannot get into the Deadpool and Wolverine screening, we've got some fantastic programming in room 10. So so Julia, thank you so much for jumping on this afternoon. And I have seen the film. I love it. So you watching this video, please, you should do yourself a favor, see this. It's one of the best Stephen King adaptations I've ever seen. So there we
Thank
go.
you. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me as a constant reader. So long days and pleasant nights to you, sir.
Thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button to make sure you don't miss out on any Fanboy Planet video content. And visit fanboyplanet.com for other features, reviews, interviews, previews, and of course, listening to the Fanboy Planet podcast. And remember, use your powers for good.